Welcome to Best in Faction.
The next generation.
A podcast with a very serious announcement.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Naj.
And I'm Lucas.
And today, this should be a pretty quick one, but we are bringing you some really important stuff that we've been thinking about for a long time about what the show is and what its role in the world is. So I'm actually going to skip over a lot of the big picture, a lot of the little picture stuff. We're going to do another show tomorrow that you can check into to see how we're doing and whatnot. But today we have a really big announcement. It's hard to know how to put this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. We're done with 40K. This game has been a lot. It's brought us a lot of fun. It's brought us together. It's brought us to some really great communities. But at the end of the day, it is simply not competitive. It's just not. And for that reason, we're going to be moving over to something that we think has a little bit more potential, a little bit more of a future, has a burgeoning scene. And it's not MCP and it's not Legion. It's definitely not Age of Sigmar. We are going to be moving over with our transition starting today to a full-time Pass the Pigs podcast. So welcome to Best in Faction, the Porcine Generation, a new show covering competitive Pass the Pigs at the highest level of the game. Lucas, could you talk to us a little bit about why it is that we made this? Talk about some of the background, what's going on, and why we find ourselves here in particular.
Yeah, so over the past couple months, we've really started to feel like Warhammer has turned away from a well-balanced competitive scene, like Tyler kind of alluded to begin with. It's just kind of a mess. There's stuff all over the place. Faction can be, the difference between a faction being really good and really bad can be down to just all sorts of inane, ridiculous stuff. So we figured, screw all that. Let's get the most boiled down, hard and focused, competitive scene we possibly can. And we honestly believe that Pass the Pigs is the perfect game for that. It's going to be our new show focus going forward. We're hoping to do this podcast many years into the future, so you can look forward to years and years of solid A+ tier Pass the Pigs content. We honestly believe it's the most competitive. It's a legitimate competitive game, and it's probably the most competitive game that's ever been out there. Name one unhealthy rule in competitive in Pass the Pigs. You cannot. It's perfectly balanced. It was built that way from the ground up to be the most competitive game that's ever existed. We honestly believe there's the most healthy metagame. The difference between a leaner and a sider, I think that's what they're called, whatever the hell, the dynamics at play there are just, chef's kiss. It's beautiful. I love it. We can play a game in under 3 hours. We've all played a game against Tyler. That number should probably be a little bit more like 4 or 5 hours. But the best part about Pass the Pigs is that Tyler doesn't have to think for his drop turn for 2 hours. You can get done with the whole thing in half an hour, which is just wonderful. And there's also less toxicity. So you will hear less phrases like the one I just said. Very toxic, very shitty of me to say. Probably going to be a little bit less of that with Pass the Pigs because it'll calm my emotional state down a bit to play such a zen game compared to 40K, which really, gets the emotions riled up.
Yeah, absolutely. It is still at the end of the day fundamentally a game of chance, So we still have that aspect of excitement and of ups and downs. And some people are going to blame pigs. We say don't blame dice. We also say don't blame pigs. It's a really core tenet of the show. But at the end of the day, people are going to get a little bit salty. But you know what? We enjoy that at the end of the day. I should also note that this is going to really turn down that player interaction and bring back some of the more OG, Art of War Trap House style of play that we all really enjoy on this show, of just sort of doing your own thing and letting your opponent do his own thing and then just winning because you happen to, be a little bit better at the game and brought slightly stronger secondaries. There are no secondaries in Pass the Pigs as a point of clarification, but if there were, they would all be to the last. So we're really excited about this change. Nick, what do you think about this transition? What do you have to say to the people?
Yeah, I'm really excited for Pass the Pigs. I have no idea how to play. Never even heard of this game before, but it seems like a much better alternative to Warhammer, which, as you all know, is plagued by dramatic meta shifts. Events are getting too big these days. A lot of way too many people going. Too many ups and downs. I go to events and there's just too much variety of different kinds of factions. We don't want that. We want everyone to be playing the same thing. It's hard to keep track of all the rules when every faction is competitive. There's lots of different variety in the list. It's not great.
Yeah, and I mean, even a meta chasing horror like yourself can't always get to the next faction fast enough. So this is going to allow you to always play the best faction, and we are so excited for you about that. All right, but
I'm like,
as Mr. Olson Johnson there just pointed out, not everyone is super familiar earlier with the rules of Pass the Pigs. So I'm going to go ahead and break it down for you all real quick so that you can see just how exciting this game is and just why we're so excited about it. So here's how it works. The game consists of, as you've seen in the images and in the images before you here, two of these wonderful little pig dice. And you'll notice that they are almost identical. They're actually entirely identical, except for some minor defects. That's another thing. The hobby track has just gotten so out of control. Bringing everyone down to only two models is going to allow everyone to focus and hone in on more. You know, my pile of shame is out the closet. And to drop it down to just two minis, now we're talking. So you'll notice that the pigs each have a black dot positioned on one and only one side of them. That's to make sure that you can maintain chirality over the course of the game. The game is played as follows. You're going to take your two pigs and you're going to roll them as if they were dice. And once they've rolled, they're going to land in some possible combination of orientations. Now, each orientation is listed here, and there are points that correspond to the success of the roll there. Lucas, could you walk us through some of these? Start at sort of the bottom right and work your way left.
Sure, why not? We're going to begin with the snouter position. So this is when a pig lands and it is leaned up onto its nose. For such a landing, you get 10 points. The sider is two pigs lying on the same side orientation, which nets you 1 point. We have the razorback formation, which is you land a pig on its back and you get 5 points for that. The piggyback is where the pigs land on top of each other. As the text there implies, such a formation is impossible and will never happen. So I don't even know why it's on the slide.
If you want, as a point of clarification, if you are to roll a piggyback, you do win the game on the spot. It's sort of the golden snitch of the game, and shaking especially hard in the hopes of a piggyback is one of the ways that you can really adjust your risk assessment to come back from being in a deep hole.
Yeah, you just go for the impossible result. You love to see it. And then we've got the pig out as well. This formation is one in which you land one pig on each side. And in that case, you would lose all of your points. So very bad result there. We've got a mixed combo. This is two pigs in two different orientations. In the event of such a thing happening, you will add the combined score for the two landings. The Macon Bacon sets you to 0 points, and it's when a pig is standing up straight and the other one is leaning against it.
As a point of clarification, at any point in time, if the pigs are touching and not in a piggyback formation, you have defiled the pigs and shall be shamed before the Lord, and as a result have been reset all the way to 0. Now, a pig out is only going to remove all your points from the current round, but a Macon Bacon reduces your score to 0, and it will stay there for the foreseeable future for you have defiled the pigs.
And then a leaning jowler is a pig not on its nose, but rather leaning forward on its nose and one of its ears, which gets you 15 points.
Very exciting. Now, the mechanics of this game are not only that you will throw the pigs and receive the corresponding points, but once you have thrown the pigs, you are left with a decision. And this is where a lot of the more high-level tactical play comes in with regard to Pass the Pigs. At this point, you can either choose to throw the pigs again, risking the potentiality of a pig out or a Macon Bacon, or you can choose, as the name might imply, to pass the pigs. And if you are to do so, you will, of course, hand them off to the person to your left, and they will then have their go. Now, should you roll a pig out or Macon Bacon, not only will you lose your points, but you will, of course, be forced to pass the pigs. So there's a lot of back and forth and risk assessment in just how many times you're willing to roll before going further. I wanted to move on now to discuss some of the big events that are coming up in the Pass the Pig circuit that we're all looking forward to. You want to run us through some of these, Lucas, and tell us a little bit about each one of these events and what makes them so special.
Yeah, for sure. So coming up here, we've got a couple of cool events, all Pass the Pigs themed, of course. We've, of course, got Rose Hammer coming up, which is going to be just the most fun ever. We've got the Bay Area Salpin, which is going to be pretty cool. Some great sows that are going to be present there. We've got the Deck Hammer as well. We're just going to make all the hammer jokes possible. Great. You love to see it. We got sow tipping as well, where we decided we're done with Tau. We're just going to tip the sow instead, which is just lovely. You love to hear it. And then we've also got streaming by Pork Games Live. Love all the work that Joe does. Honestly, just such a high quality stream, and we're going to try to get him on board for some.
He's actually already with us. He has agreed to be streaming sow tipping, and is making the transition along with us. Unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit of time and require a little bit of more financial commitment on the end of some of these events, because they don't have quite the draw that such a silly game as 40K does at the particular moment. But we're very excited.
Yeah, definitely working with some great folks here. And then we've also got another event upcoming, Pigs.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow with a really good talk about sportsmanship. But I've been Tyler. Nick already left.
Bye, idiots.